when you're playing with dispatch, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But sometimes it's just a hustle. Over here in New Paris, Ohio today. There's Indiana right there. There's what's left of the old 76. And there's a really cool cab over. From what I hear, that was quite a place back in the day. So, I had a substitute dispatcher. And we had words. Well, I'm not going to say it was words. But he overplayed his hand. He tried to hustle me because he was in a jam. Instead of being straight up, he thought he could just force dispatch me and all would be right with the world. He doesn't know me that well. But truthfully, I don't know him that well either. And herein lies the rub. When you get to know these people, you start knowing which buttons you can push and which ones you shouldn't. And, well, I learned a few things. So let me set the stage. It's Friday. They know I'm coming out here. And he ends up calling me. He says, I have a load for you. I said, do you now? He says, yeah. He said, well, he gives me the load. I said, no. He said, well, you don't have to be in Oklahoma City until. I said, stop right there. I said, where in my history have I ever agreed to haul one of these loads? This is one of those loads that I very rarely haul. In fact, in the last 10 years, I've done it 4 times, which was 3 times too many. So, you know, he gets all indignant. And, he's like, well, that's all there is. I was like, wait a minute. He says, I need this covered because a truck broke down. I was like, no, you've already overplayed your hand. Basically, what I'm thinking happened was instead of checking with me, he gave away all his loads thinking that this being the last load, I was going to be forced to take it. No, I don't play that game. If he would have approached me and said, I'm in a jam, need your help? Guy's truck broke down, I got to get somebody to cover this load. This is about all I got. I wouldn't have had a problem with that. In fact, I probably would have done it. But if you sit there and try to play games, you're going to get a whole lot less out of me than you normally would. So, the aftermath of this was rather interesting. Don't know if I want to go any further. I might get Indiana on me. Now here's the thing. I've been doing this a while. In fact, I've been doing this long enough to know I watched the Twin Towers come down in a truck stop quite a while back. So I played the game. It's frustrating. So he gets mad, finds me a load for Monday. He overplayed his hand. Well, I'm going to tell you how he overplayed his hand. He overplayed his hand by giving me too much information, for one. But I've been at this game long enough to know that any Tyson load that loads on a Saturday is more likely a Sunday load. And this place is awful. But if he's trying to give me a load where the guy whose truck supposedly broke down and suddenly he needs it covered, but he knew that I was coming out here, that tells me that A, he never had a load to begin with, or 2, he was trying to force something on me because this load was already taken. when he should have been looking for a load for me. So he was pulling an old school hustle. He ain't no good at it yet, but give him a couple years. So yeah, the fact that this is a load that was already failed and somebody had already lost it. I don't know if this was true or what happened. Don't care. I don't believe a lot of things that are told to me these days. Most of these guys give me no reason to doubt them, but if I don't know you, I'm going to take it all with a grain of salt. I kind of want to climb the ladder up there. That's a ways up. I think I'm going to walk across the highway and see the old 76 site. This right here is actually the old highway before they built the interstate. There's not a whole lot left out here, but there's some neat old writing on that there, and I still got the sign and the light pole. So he approached me wrong. I may have approached him wrong a little too. I know in the computer it's got a note saying I don't do that load. I know he probably read it. Here's the thing, I didn't get mad. You can't get mad. This guy don't care. He goes home at 5. Actually 4. But, and he's also covering a load that really, or a load board that isn't his. So, I'm not mad. But I think he got frustrated because he was counting on me to take this load. Instead of being decent, like I said, he thought he could force it on me. No. So, funny thing happened. I end up getting the load out here that I wanted anyways. I get a restart in a decent place. And I get a load I've been asking for a while that's going to take me right back to the gravy. I got to sit for a weekend. I don't know if he thought that he was just going to punish me by doing this, or if he just didn't care, or what. Whatever. He kind of gave me what I've been asking for anyway, so I'm not mad. You can't get mad. And when you get mad, stupid things happen. You make mistakes. And here's the thing. Did he hustle me or did he not? I think he panicked. I think he had a load that he took for granted that I was going to do. Approach is everything, dispatchers. If he would have been completely straight up and honest with me about it, I would have done it. I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have done it because it's something that needed to be done, and he was in a bind. But he tried to slick me. If I even have a notion that I'm being slicked, you're not going to get nothing out of me. It's just the way I am. I just don't respond well to that. But that being said, it's the weekend. So, yeah. So as a punishment, I get to hang out and explore an old 76, and I'll take you guys along with me. There's not much to see. So the sun's going down. I'm going to get a few more pictures here before it gets too dark. If you can get a chance and you see stuff like this, it doesn't seem like much, take pictures of it. Pictures will last a whole lot longer than these do, and one of these days you might actually want to put a scrapbook together. I know that sounds funny in this day of digital age, but you know, it's not a bad thing, and sometimes it's nice to just sit there with a book and leaf through some memories. Trust me on that. You realize that the older you get, so let's look around a little more and get back. So we walk this way. Like I said, we got the old truck wash here. I said there's not anything really for souvenirs or anything to find here, but it is kind of neat to look around to you know, see what it was like. As you see up there at the top by the truck wash, you can see the main entrance, you can see the exit. You can see where the building was and the fuel pumps were and where the parking was. You know, you get a pretty good idea of the layout of the building. It's pretty cool. Now, when I started driving, 76s were on their way out. They'd been bought by that time, and a bunch of them were still open, but they were starting to close them down. 2001, remember hearing that the TA had bought them. Which is sad. There's a few ones that I really would have liked to have seen, like the old stockyards in Chicago. I remember the old one in Austin, Minnesota. It was pretty cool till they tore that down. And even a place like this. As I've said before, I came on the tail end of something that was really unusual and neat. And I didn't get to experience much of it. But I'm glad I got to experience what I did. Now, it would be fun if a fella could take a metal detector all through there. This is where all the building was and everything. And I'll bet you could find some pretty cool stuff in here. Maybe. Well, there was obviously something there. Probably a light pole. Well, that's kind of funny. On this side of there, they actually have directional markings over here for this stoplight, even though nothing comes out of here anymore. I've seen a few of these posts sticking out of the ground with new padlocks on it. I don't know if they're vents or what. I'm seeing that there was something right here. I wonder if this was one of those little guard shacks where you got your ticket coming in. If they had that here, I don't know. But you can kind of start seeing the lines and seeing where everything was laid out if you really look. Now, one of the things I think is neat about this is if you look at these lights, the sign and the light poles, they all follow a pattern. The entrance lights here are squared. That's all squared. That's squared. All of these poles are all square. You know, it'd be cool to have something like this, you know, as yard art. Well, that's cool. I'll bet you that's exactly where the entrance sign used to be. 76 had entrance signs. Let's go see if there's something on the other side. They had entrance signs that said 76 and enter. What's funny is there's a surprising amount of these that are still around. They might not say 76, but you can tell that they were. So, nothing on this side, but that's still pretty cool. So as the sun goes down on an old 76 for one more day, we got to see something pretty cool. I'll tell you a story about dispatch. It wasn't a completely long one, but you might be wondering what I'm going to do about it. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to do absolutely nothing. The thing is, I don't know if there was malice behind what he did. I don't know if he was frustrated about having to do a bunch of work that really wasn't his. I don't know if he was just being a prick. Could have been all three. I know I made his job a little harder. I know I'm a little stubborn. Should I have taken that load? Not really. The load, truthfully, monetarily, this is kind of where I've said you kind of got to be a little bit of a prick when you're running your own business. You've got to give when you need to give, but you also have to know when not to. That load monetarily doesn't make any sense to me. And lately, every load that I've gotten out that way, where the load was going, does not pay. I end up sitting. Half the time they send me home. Freight's down right now. So if you can stay where the market's still going pretty strong or where you can make some money, do it. I'm actually in a pretty good spot right now, despite sitting for a reset. I don't mind. It's a beautiful day. When you're faced with things like this, you can do one of two things. You can get mad, indignant, like I was starting to get at first, or you can just let it go. Sometimes letting it go means you got get a little bit of mad and indignant, but you got to work through it and realize that it's not personal. We're out here to make money, like I said. I knew that load is a no money maker. Now, like I said, had he approached me with a little bit of humility and a little bit of deference and said, hey, I got a problem, I'm your man. But the fact that he chose the other way and thought that he was all-knowing and all-seeing, I'm an owner-operator. I own my truck. You're not going to force dispatch me. Never underestimate my ability and willingness to sit. But that being said, I think I could have handled it better. So, hey, maybe he could have too, but that's not my call to make. But I am responsible for me, and I know I could have handled it better too. But that being said, you know, tomorrow's a new day. Sun's going down. Got to see something pretty cool right there. And we stayed out of Indiana. So today all together was a good day. Guys, keep your spirits up, have fun, and don't let the BS get to you. You're going to get hustled, you're going to get played. Sometimes you need to go with it, sometimes you need to kick back a little bit. But all in all, you just need to know when to know and when to go. So those things take time and experience. You're not going to figure it out your first week. So guys, be careful out there. It's a crazy world. Make your money, do well, and we'll see you next video. Thanks for watching.